Hey guys, welcome to this project. I'm so excited to share the Uber clone with you guys. This is the real Uber clone. I'm saying real because if you see on the YouTube, a lot of Uber clones that are there, they are not implementing all full functionalities. As you can see on your screen, you can see a car moving perfectly along this route, this direction. The car is perfectly following it, and we're going to implement all this in this series of tutorials. All this will be done with React Native and Node.js. This is not easy to implement. I really took some time to search and read in order to be able to achieve this, and I'm going to share all that hard work with you in this series of tutorials. But before we begin, let me just show you all that we're going to build. I'm going to go back to the home screen. Let me show you everything so that we are on the same page when we begin coding. So this will be your home screen. Whenever you open your app, let me just close the app. By the way, you can close the app. I'm using Expo, as you can see, and let me reopen everything. Yes, Expo. Just want to launch the app so that I show you everything from scratch. Here is Uber clone loading. This is awesome. You have your splash screen there. I'm running directly from the source code. I've coded everything, so you can be assured that this project will be completed because I have the source code and everything for this project. And yeah, this is your home page. The app is loaded, so everything seems perfect. If you scroll down, you will see that if you have used Uber app before, at the bottom you're gonna have a map that shows your location, which is the blue dot or marker which you're seeing there. That is showing my current location. So, and around you, you're gonna have Uber drivers that are available. So you can see that there are some Uber cars just around me, and you can see the map is interactive. So I'm sure that if I can order or request the Uber now, as I'm scrolling at the bottom, you can see there are other cars down at the bottom and so forth. So if I can order or request the Uber now, the closest car will be first reached. If it's available, it's gonna come to me and so forth. So this is all implemented and functional with the help of Node.js. All these functionalities will be implemented in the back end, and you can see we have the history of the places I have been before. So I can just select one place and it will request a Uber to come and take me there. And there are all these other options. You can order a ride or food or parcel. As you know, right now Uber is also delivering parcels like a courier. So if you want to courier something, you can also do it with Uber and so forth. But in this case, you're gonna focus on the ride. If I click on ride with Uber, it's gonna take me to the screen where I will be able to input my details of the place where I want to go to, or I can select from the previous places where I've been. I can select from those places, and you can see there if I order it for me. But you can also request a Uber for someone. For example, if I click there, I can press request for someone, and now I can put the details for someone. If I click there, where to, it's gonna request the pickup location, and this is all implemented with Google Google Places as well as autocomplete. For example, if I just start typing my address, the autocomplete feature of Google will begin suggesting places for me. This is just awesome, and all this is 100% implemented So for example, I put my the address of the pickup, say 55 Pretoria. As I'm tapping, you see there are suggestions from Google autocomplete, and here is my address at the second suggestion. If I keep tapping, you see that this one has become now the first suggestion, which is the address where I want to go to. I take that address, so I will type the destination address now. I'll say for example 32 Olivia Road, and that is perfect. Awesome. Here Google Map has loaded. It shows the path, the direction which will be taken to drop me where I want to go, and it gives you the travel time. It will tell you that you will reach there in 6 minutes. It even gives you the distance from where you are to where you want to go. It gives me, in my case, it's 3.9 kilometers, and at the same time it also calculates the fare. That means it calculates all the fare, and in this case it gives me the option of different Uber cars. For Uber Go, it's gonna be $5, and normally it was supposed to be $7, but it discounted, $2 discount, and you can see there's a line across the actual price and so forth. So you have Uber X there as well, and so forth. All these are the services that you will find on your Uber app. If you can open Uber 4.2, this is exactly what is on Uber 4.2. I know that Uber changes the version. I'm sure now they are at 4.3 or 4 or 8, I'm not sure, but this is Uber 4.2. This is the time when I built this project. And if I'm happy with all this information, then I can confirm my Uber. In my case, I will take Uber X. You see the selection changes, and even the text on the button also have changed to Uber X. If I put Uber Connect, you see it also changes to Uber Connect. If I click on Uber Black, you see the button also changes as well as the selection. But I'm going to go with Uber X, and you can see I have implemented this bottom sheet, which is fully functional. You can see it really fully functional and so forth. I will confirm. Now it takes me to the confirmation. If I'm happy with all the information provided, I can confirm the request, and it gives you the car registration number. This is the registration number of the car that will come to fetch you, so you will be able to easily identify the car that you have requested. All this information will come from the database, from the server, and you have also the driver information, the driver name, the number of trip that this driver has done so far, even the rating, the average rating. All this information will be fetched from the database. And yeah, this driver has got 4.9 average rating out of 5, so this is very good rating for him. And it also shows you your location, the pickup location. I mean, this is the pickup location, and if you confirm that this is the right pickup location and you are happy with the amount, the fare, and the payment mode, in this case it's showing that you're gonna pay with the Visa card, but you can change that also to cash payment. If I click on cash, you can see that it has changed to cash payment. I can even add the payment method or a different card by just clicking there. Okay, I see this emulator is giving me some problem. Let me just relaunch it. As I said, my computer is very small, does not withstand this amount of emulation. Okay, I've relaunched my emulator. I was here and I said we could add a payment method. As you can see, by clicking on there, it opens. You can add a card. For example, I can put 462 and so forth. It even detects the type of card because the first 4 digits or the first one, it determines the supplier of your card or the service provider. And so you can add your card number. You can also add the expiry date as by on your card. You can see detect if the year is wrong. You can put 2023 for example, and there's a nice animation there. You can put your CVC code, and you can save your card, and then the amount will be deducted from this card, and all the payment is implemented in the back end on the Node.js server. And yeah, so but for now let's keep it to cash payment. And then once you're happy with all the information, you can confirm the pickup. Confirming my pickup now, and the map will begin to load. Awesome, you can see the map is loading, and you can see now the driver is coming straight to you. The location is here where I am, and here is the car coming, and you can see the car moving on the path. And this is done with the help of Google directions, and you can see that the car is perfectly moving on this map on the direction. And as I said, this feature is complex to implement, and I've done a lot of research in order to do this, and I'm going to share all those details with you. And if you see on a lot of Uber clone data on YouTube, you will see that they've not been able to implement this car moving perfectly along the map, as you can see. So this is in a nutshell what we're going to implement. And you have a counter also there counting down to tell you the time that is left for the driver to reach your place. And right now it's 0 seconds and the driver has reached there, and all this will be working in real time. So this about it. That was the introduction or the summary of what we're going to build in this project. So you can see that there's really a lot that you're going to learn, and it's just fascinating the amount of work and how exciting it is to be able to implement such a project. And this is really an advanced project, and there's quite a ton of information that you're going to learn. So without wasting any time, we're going to begin working on this project. But before that, let me show you a project structure, how we're going to go about building this project. In 1 minute or two, let me show you the structure of this project before we begin coding. This will be quick, just 1 minute or two. I want you to get used or to understand exactly the steps that we're going to take into implementing this project. As I said, this will be a complete Uber clone, meaning the front end as well as the back end. The front end will be implemented with React Native, and we're going to implement the Android as well as iOS. And this will be very simple because we're using Expo. So there are a lot of libraries that are managed by Expo that we don't need to handle on our side, and that makes the development process very easy. And Expo is very advanced now. It's not as it used to be 2 or 3 years ago. It's really mature, I can say, so it can easily handle this type of project. And yeah, so this project will have 2 parts. We're going to break it into 2 parts. The first part, which I call part A, will be the front end. This is where we're going to build all the UI of the project, the map and the cars and all those things that you've seen in the demonstration. That is part of the front end. We're going to implement that as part A of this project, and the second part will be called part B. Part B will be the back end. So the back end will be made of Node.js and the MongoDB, because the database that we'll be using will be MongoDB, and that is a NoSQL database. So that's what we're going to implement in this project. So part A will be, as I said, the front end will be made of 5 screens. So it's not really a big project. I think in 4 or 5 videos we should be able to finish all this project. And the first screen that we're going to build will be home screen, and the second screen will be the request screen. Let me just show you as this is the home screen. This is the home screen. This will be the first screen that we're going to build. As you can see on the emulator, all this is part of the home screen, the drawer navigator and all that, and the map and the cars around you. This is part of the home screen. So let's go back, and the request screen will be the second screen that we're going to build. If I can show you what is the request screen, if you go to Ride with Uber, if I click there, this is the request screen. We have this bottom sheet. All this is part of the request screen. So here you can be able to request the Uber for yourself, for example for me, or maybe I want to request for someone else. If I want to do that, it can still be done. I can simply go back there and click for someone else, and this is also part of the request screen. And you have the history address, where you can just pick one address and it will take you to where you want to go. So all this, as well as the map that you're seeing, interactive map here, it's part of the request screen, because this is where you can input the information of where you want to go. And the third screen that we're going to implement is the destination screen. So let me show you again. Once you are on the request screen, for example, if say I want to request the Uber for myself, I'm gonna click for me, and I have to put my destination address, and this is the destination screen. It has this text input with Google autocomplete, and this is where we're going to implement the Google autocomplete. And from here also, in this destination screen, you can decide to change it to order for yourself, to request the Uber for yourself. From here you can change that, and you see also that change there. So it will request the address from where the person must be fetched. For example, I can say 35, or let's say this time around Youth Industrial Park. This is my work address, and you can see this is my work address. I can take that, and it will ask my destination address. I can say 32 Olivia Road. 32 Olivia Road, and this is the address that I used to stay before. I can take that, and this will be computed, and then it will take me to the confirmation screen, and this will be the fourth screen that we're going to implement. This is the confirmation screen. So it has taken us, this is what we're going to implement under confirmation screen. So, and once you are in this screen, and I think the final screen will be the right screen. Under this confirmation screen, we're going also to implement this. This is still part of the confirmation screen, and you can even change the payment method mode and all that. This will be still part of the confirmation screen, and the final screen that will be implemented is the right screen. So the right screen, let me show you. This is when you are happy with all information. When you click there, this is the right screen. You can see the Google map loading and shows you the address and so forth. So this is the right screen, and so you can zoom this, but in my case I'm not able to zoom from the emulator, but in the real app you'll be able to zoom, and you can now see that the car is moving along the road there, and you can see it turn a bit around, and then it follows the road perfectly. This is just awesome, and this is just a dummy address that I've put and all that. So this is all about the project structure. But let me also just speak about part B, or which will be the second part of the project. This will be the back end, and this is where we're going to create our server as well as the database and implement all the back-end functionalities. So the first thing that we're going to do in part B, we're going to spin a Linux machine. This will be a virtual machine that we're gonna spin or create on Linode or AWS or DigitalOcean. This will be a Linux machine. This is where we're going to implement our Node.js server as well as our MongoDB. And yeah, so that is the first part we're going to do in part B, which is the back end. And we're also going to implement in this part, as I said, we're going to implement the Node.js server on a Linux machine, as well as set up a database on a Linux machine, a virtual machine that will be on, we can do that on Linode, AWS or DigitalOcean. I prefer Linode. I always use Linode for all my clients. It's really the main service provider for our company, and I'm very much accustomed to Linode. They just have amazing services, and it's very straightforward to implement. You don't need any AWS certification or anything, and yeah, it's just very straightforward and very convenient. But we're going to implement it on all the services. I will show you exactly how to spin the machine on AWS, DigitalOcean as well as Linode. And finally, once you have done the setup and implemented our servers, we're going to implement all the functionalities. This is where we're going to implement the real-time data and all those type of things. And the technologies that we're going to use, as I said, we will be using Expo. This is very convenient way to develop Expo, Android as well as iOS app at the same time. That's why I've decided to use Expo. If you see in my previous tutorials, for example on the food delivery app, I've been using React Native CLI, and I've been stuck only to develop for Android because I'm using a PC. But with Expo, I'll be able to develop for Android as well as iOS in the browser without really having to own a Mac, even though I'm planning to own one. As you can see, this computer is very slow and freezing, so I need to upgrade to a bigger computer that will be able to handle this type of work. And at the same time, let me take this opportunity to ask you guys to buy me some coffees, and all that will be able to assist me to buy a bigger computer to be able to continue with this type of project. Your contribution will be really more than welcome. I've received some contribution already from 2 guys, and I really appreciate that. They have not given me permission to mention their names, but I want to take this opportunity to thank those guys that have bought me some coffees so far. And yeah, I expect you guys. I'm waiting for your contribution, and I will be able to buy a better computer, a Mac that will be faster enough to handle this type of work. As I said, the first technology that we use, or the main one, is Expo. We're also going to be using Node.js for our server, and as I said, we're going to be using MongoDB, and this will be the database technology that we're going to be using. And the other main functionality or library that I must mention, it's Socket.io. This is what we're going to use for our real-time data, because we have to sync the data from the driver to the user as well as from the user to the driver. So this is very important, and Socket.io makes this very simple. You're gonna see how we're going to implement it. It's very straightforward, really. So that's it. We don't have to waste time. We're going to begin coding, and yeah, let's get our hand dirty. I have a blank Visual Studio file here open. As you can see, it's a blank project that I've opened, and as I said, I'm using Visual Studio Code. I'm using VS Code. So some of you are using Xcode, so it doesn't really matter what code editor you're using. Everything will work together. Any editor will work. We just follow what I'm doing, and there are some details that I won't be going through, but I will be going through most of details, at least I can promise. So the first thing that you do, you're going to initialize a project. You can see If you go to Google, go to React Native, type React Native and go to the React Native.dev website, as you can see, and you're gonna get the instruction on how to set up a project. If you scroll down, say get started, or you go there and scroll down, environment setup and setting up development environment. There are all details that you need in order to set up a project if this is your first time to set up a React Native project. But for most of you, I assume you know already how to set up a React Native project. As I said, we're going to use Expo CLI, and so these are the instructions for Expo CLI. The first thing that you need to do, you must have Node.js installed on your computer, and if you click on this, it's gonna take you to Node.js and show you the instruction on how to install Node.js. This is not part of the scope of this video. And the same, after you've done that, come here and copy this, install Expo CLI. Once you have installed Expo CLI, then you are ready to initialize a project. It's as simple as that. It's just 3 steps. And the other thing that you must ensure, you must have Android Studio installed on your computer if you want to develop for Android. And if you're developing for iOS, definitely you should have Xcode, which comes already with all the SDK that are needed for you to do. And I won't go through the setup of Android Studio as well as the emulators. If you're struggling with that, just tap in the comment. I will give you a link. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, but I will give you the best link on how to set up all these things. If you are struggling with setting up the Android Studio or Xcode and all that, Xcode comes with the iOS emulator. So, but if you're having any problem, just tap in the comment. I will try my best to get back to you on how to set up your project. That being said, we're going to begin initializing our project. I assume you have all the setup ready. So go back to your code editor, and in whatever directory you want your project to be initialized in my case, initialize all my Expo in a directory which are called Expo. So you can get to whatever directory you want. So we're going to say Expo init. I'm going to call my project Uber clone. Alright, Expo init Uber clone. So this will begin initializing my project. And to give you options, yes, I will say a blank project. I just want a blank project, and this will begin initializing. So my project initialization is complete. I did pause the video for some time. So here the initialization is complete. You should have your screen showing the same. So your project is ready and so forth, and it even tells you what to do. You can cd inside the project that you have created Uber clone and yarn start or yarn Android or whatever, then it will start the respective project depending on the platform for which you're building. If you're building for iOS, you simply do yarn iOS, and this will launch your iOS emulator, assuming you have your emulator set up then using Xcode. And if you're using Android, you do the same, yarn Android. So the first thing that you're gonna do, you're going to cd, meaning change directory, cd inside our project Uber clone, and once you are inside the project, you can yarn start or whatever. In my case, I always use Expo start, so I will do that. Expo start, and this will launch the server. The Metro server will be launched, as you can see. Let me open it here. The server is open. It's running on this port here, 19002. This is where the Metro server is running, and it gives you a QR code where you can scan. If you're using the Expo client app, you can scan that, so you develop directly from your mobile phone. And I will recommend you to do that, because the emulator sometimes freezes and things like that. and especially if you have a small computer like mine. But if you have a performing computer, it's okay, you can run the emulator. But I find it very convenient and practical to simply use the Expo client app and then simply scan this QR code, and then your project will be running live on your device. But for this tutorial, I'll be using the emulator so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'll be running the Android emulator, that's the one I have installed on my machine. And if I was using Mac, I could run both of them. As I said, I'm on a plan to buy a Mac, and your assistance will be highly appreciated. But otherwise, the first thing that I will do, I have first to run my Android Studio to run the emulator. And I could start it directly, but sometimes it does fail, so I'd rather start the emulator before I run this from my server. So go to AVD manager, and just want to clear all the data for previous emulations. Once it's empty like that, I will run my emulator. And for iOS, you do the same as I said. You can click that QR code. Even for those who are building on Android, I recommend everyone to develop from the mobile phone. You don't have to use the emulator if you're using Expo. So download the Expo client app. Let me show you the Expo client app. You can simply go to your respective app store and just tap Expo client. You're gonna get the app. So my emulator is running. I'm going to pause a little bit for it to set up. Good. You can see my emulator is perfectly set up. It finished initialization. As you can see, this is the Android emulator, and now I'm going to run the app, the Expo app that we've just begun. And okay, first of all, I want to launch that project. I just want to show you something. Let me just cancel this terminal. We are here. So if you go to the app.js, I did open my Uber clone project that we've just created. To open your project, you can simply go to your terminal. If you are in your terminal and in the folder where you created your project, you can simply cd inside the project. For example, it's Uber clone in our case, as I said, and code. This will launch your project. I've launched mine already. Just tap code and space and dot. That will launch your project. So once your project is opened like this, go to app.js. You should have this. So this is an example project from Expo. All right, you have an example project from Expo, and this is the example project that we're going to run on our emulator. So as I said, I will do Expo start, and this will launch the Metro server, which is a Node.js server, and this is running on port 19,002. And if I now say run Android emulator, this will begin connecting to the emulator and test find the emulator, because my Android emulator is on, and it's attempting to open it now. It should open it. Just give it some time. Just double check that I have my internet connection on. Sorry. Okay, it's attempting to open it. So I don't know why it's taking so long. Sometimes it does take long. If you have used Android emulators before, you know that it can take a bit of time, sometime or even fail sometimes. Let me cancel this and retry it again. It tells me that it did fail to open, and let's see, why is it failing? Let me run it. Okay, finally it has connected, and this is quite normal. If you are used to Expo, you know that sometimes it can fail to connect. Maybe it can connect at the second attempt, and now it is connected. If I go to my emulator, you can see the emulator is loading. You can see the Expo client app being downloaded and loading and bundling the app. So here's your code being loaded, and this is the Expo client app. So the same app that you could install on your actual device, but in this case it's installed on the emulator, and from there it runs our files. So gonna give it some time for it to finally load the JavaScript bundles. Good. The project has finished loading. You should have this on your emulator, whether using iOS or using Android. This is what your emulator should look like. Okay, you should have open up app.js to start your thing, and this is the example project which comes with Expo. So that being said, we are ready to go. We are ready to begin our project. So you are set up, and if you're having all these things, as you can see, I'm just setting the emulator apart so we can begin our project. And here is your project. So everything should be okay. Everything should be okay. Now the first thing that I will ask you to do, I want you to create a folder. Go to the left to your project properties and files and all those things. So click there and right click, create a new folder. You call it source, src. I always like to put all my files inside this, and by default Expo will come already with a folder called asset, where they put all their images and things like that. You can see all their icons, splash icon and things like that are found in this folder. So we will put all our assets as well inside this folder. Okay, and that being said, go to your source folder, src folder, create another folder inside this, call it component. This is my standard way of doing things. I always create a component folder inside the source folder. I create another folder, call it screen, and gonna call it screens. This is where we're going to put all our screens. And inside the source folder again, create another folder, call it navigation. This is where we're going to create all our navigations. Just create, okay, navigations. And what else? I think that should be about it. Okay, also create another folder. You call it context, because you're gonna have to manage some data at a global level. So we're going to create some context in this project, and create another folder, call it reducers, inside this source folder. Call it reducers, and create again another folder, call it global. In this folder, I create some global data, for example global stars and dummy datas and things like that. So let's just create a folder, call it global, and yeah, that should be it. And once you've done that, go back to your app.js file and just delete everything in this file. We don't need all these things. Delete all that, and now we're going to create a functional component. You can say rn, going to use a functional component. So this is just a functional component which I've created. It's also called app, and inside here I'll say hello Uber clone, and save that, and let's check the emulator to see that it's responding. Awesome, you have Uber clone there in the top. That means you are communicating with your emulator and everything is set up. So I always copy some styles, pre-made styles, so that we don't take too long tapping hundreds of styles, because you know that React Native is mostly about styling your app or your data. So, and that takes a lot of time. I don't want to tap styles, height and borders and padding and margins. It's just boring. Alright, so what I do, I'll copy the styles that we're going to use in these screens. I'm going to copy the styles and paste them. Okay, so then I will pause the video so you can see exactly what those styles are. You can type them, or else I'll leave this link to the GitHub repo for this project, where you're gonna find all these styles. Alright, so you're gonna find all these styles on the link in the description, or else I'm going also to show you exactly what they are about. Here is the first part. You can pause and write them down on your project. I'll scroll again. You can pause and tap this in your project. You can pause again and tap the second part, or I don't know which part it is now. I'll scroll again. So you can imagine if you have to tap all these stars, it's gonna make this video too long and too boring. So I don't want to waste your time as well as mine. So I will also leave the link to the styles, because the styles will be on GitHub as well, so you can copy and quicken your coding. I think that is the simple way that I find it, and I find it convenient. I find it very convenient. So these are the styles that we're going to use in this home screen. Okay, as I said, this can be a bit messy, but it's not the purpose of this project. You can rearrange these styles in whatever manner you want it to look. As I say, this is not the perfect way the project must be done. You can have your own way of creating project and styling up your project, but the main purpose is just to implement the idea. Okay, the idea can be implemented in various ways. That being said, we have all the styles that we're gonna need for this project. And go to your global folder. In your source folder, we have created a global folder, right? Go there and create a file, call it stars as well. You can hit stars. You're gonna create a file called stars.js. This will be a JavaScript file, and in this stars.js file we're going to have the global stars. Global stars are those stars that are used in various screens or component. For example, you're gonna see that in this project all the colors are black. All the buttons are black. You see, so all the buttons in various screens are black. So I don't want to put a black all over. I can have a black color in the global style, so that in the future if I want to make all the buttons blue, I don't have to go through all component and screen. I can simply come here and change it from here, and that change will be affected throughout all the app, or throughout all the components that are using the global styles. Okay, again I'm going to paste the global styles as well. I think those who have watched my videos before, they know how I do it. I always paste styles so that we don't waste time. Again, you're gonna find this styles inside my Git repo. Okay, these are the styles, and you can pause the video and type them, or else you will also find them on the GitHub link below in the description. So these are the global styles. You can save that. I will save this, and I will also save this. Okay, it's gonna give us errors because there are some stuff that are not yet imported. For example, colors, we're gonna have to import this object and so forth, but don't worry about that. And now go to your, okay, still in global folder, create another JavaScript file called data.js. Okay, I always do this because at first we're just creating the front end. We have to simulate the database, so we can fetch the data from here to create the UI quickly. Once we're done with the UI, we're gonna delete this and start fetching data from our server, which interact with the database, which will be the MongoDB in this case. All right, so I'm going to paste again some data. Obviously I won't expect you to type all these datas. I will expect you to go to my GitHub repo that I will leave in the description and find all this data that I'm pasting. Okay, these are the datas that I've pasted. So you have some pictures and all these type of things. Honestly speaking, if I were you, I wasn't going to type this. I was simply gonna go to the GitHub repo and get all this data. But otherwise, if you enjoy typing, you're still welcome. That's okay. And you can pause the video and I'll scroll for you. I'll scroll and I can see the screen is too small to handle this. You can check there as well. And so all these are some of the data. These are data that we're gonna be using inside our app and so forth. Okay. All right, that being said, I will save this file as well. Now we have most of the data. I just want to mention something. You might not find the JSX that we're going to type on the Git or repo. Most of things that you'll find on the Git repo, it's only the styles, assets and global datas. So that's what I put on the Git repo. The rest of coding you're gonna find them on YouTube, because this is a tutorial. I'm not trying to build a project and put it on GitHub. That's not the purpose of this. This is a tutorial. That means I'm teaching you how to do this. If I simply put it on GitHub, it's not teaching. So that's a difference. But if you are only interested in getting the whole project complete and done, you don't want to be taught, or you don't want to learn, if you know already everything, you just want the project, all right, you're gonna have to send me an email and we will talk on how we can do that. But otherwise, all the stars, everything are on GitHub, and if you follow all the tutorial, you will have all this project complete. You will have it done, and you'll understand and learn a lot of advanced tricks of developing mobile app and having a project like this done by yourself. Okay, that being said, we're going to import the global styles. I'm just excited, guys, about this project. This is really awesome. I'm going to import colors, and you can see this is imported automatically. And if you see, we've been getting some errors because there are global datas that we have used in our styles. For example, if you see the color here, the background color, I'm getting it from the colors object, which we are importing right now from the global styles. Okay, also going to import the parameters, and yeah, let's save. Most probably this will clear the error. Let's see, let's check the emulator if we're still having the error. Where's my emulator now? Okay, it's saying unable to resolve. Okay, all right, I see. It's not able to have this. This is a package which we must install, React Native status bar height. This checks the height, but normally we really don't need to install this, because we could get the height from Expo constants. Okay, but in this case, we leave it like this for now. And what we're going to do now, we're gonna begin building our project. The first thing that we will do, we need to, can delete that, we pass some styles to this view. We give it the container style because this is the main or the parent view. So it's going to be styles dot container, and once you have that, now we're going to begin building. Let me just see. I'm going to show you something. I think this is just one of the screen that we're going to build, right? If you remember, this is the home page. This is the home page. You have the map at the bottom and so forth. This is what we're going to begin building, because if you see on the presentation on part A, the first screen that we're going to build is the home screen, right? This is the home screen that we're going to begin with. So I just want to share my little screen so that we have the emulator showing. We can see exactly what we're building. It just makes life easier, and by the time I have my big computer, I think a lot of struggle will be eliminated. So I'm on a race to get a Mac, high performance Mac, that will enable me to develop easily and record at the same time. So let's save this. We're still having this React Native status bar error. I just want to get rid of that now. Let me just search React Native status. Let's go to the global stars. Do I have that? Okay, this is where we're getting the error from. Importing this React Native in our global stars. For now, I'm going to comment this out. Comment that out. And all these things, all these are useless things. I think this were just for demonstration purpose. You can comment all those things out, and or else let's install it. I don't see why we have to make it a problem. Just go to your console. You can do npm install, or you can do yarn add. I always use yarn. I think it's more reliable. That's my opinion. I use yarn, and I think it's more reliable and more up to date than any other npm. So yarn add. So we're going to install this package, React Native height, and I will show you also how to use Expo constant to get the height of your status bar. So if that is done, if you save and dismiss this, you can close this for now and rerun your project. I'm going to rerun my project by tapping Expo start. Expo start, and this will begin loading my application. And so let me see, Android. I'm going to run my Android emulator now. It should start sometimes. I'm just checking. Alright, it's attempting to open the emulator. Let me just show. Attempting to open it. Hopefully it won't fail. Okay, success. So the emulator is ready, it's connected. Let me remove this now. So this series of videos will be a bit longer, or it will be longer indeed, because this is a big project. Of course, not as big as the food delivery app that is also being built on this channel, but yeah, this is also gonna take us about 5-6 videos to complete, so you will need to be patient. All right, if you want to be a great developer, one advice that I will give you is patience. All right, if you are not patient, then you want to be a great developer. That I can tell you in advance. You have to be patient, to spend night studying, learning, reading, watching videos, doing tutorials, and you will see that within some months of hard work, of patience, you will be a great developer. I didn't become a great developer in one day or in a month. It took me almost more than a year learning JavaScript and understanding all these frameworks, and it's just a lot of things. If you go out there are hundreds of frameworks, so you can easily get confused. So the best I will advise you is to focus on a framework. For example, for your mobile development, you say I want to be a React Native developer. You consecrate your time to that, you with patience and hard working, and yeah, you will see that things will work out for you. Definitely there will be bugs, and there will be sometimes where you work on something doesn't work, but you have to be patient and research and watch videos and read books and see what others have done. That's how you learn and become perfect. But if you want to complete a project in one day, or you want to become a perfect developer, this great developer that all companies are after, if you want to become that in one day, then I can tell you that it won't work. You need patience, and I'm sure that a lot of developers out there, they will agree with me that it requires patience to be a successful developer. All right, so that being said, don't worry about this error. It's quite normal because I'm going to show you something. Remember, I've copied a lot of data to this, so in order to eliminate this error, we're going to import dimensions from React Native, because this is exactly what it's saying, the screen width object that we're getting. So we're going to import dimension from React Native, and once we have imported that, we're going to create some constants, and the first one we're gonna be screen width, as it is saying screen width, and this we're gonna get it from the dimension API from React Native dimension object get.get. We call this method, and this will be window method. We're gonna get from the window object, and we get the width, and that should be the width of your screen. So that will be the width of your screen, and we're gonna also do the same in all screens where we use this let's see if in the global stars we're using that. No, we're not using that in the global stars. So you should have your project looking like this, empty. So that means you are on the same page with me. Now we're gonna begin creating the UI. That's the first thing, and the home screen, that's what we will be busy with in this video. And go to the screen folder, create a file. Oh, sorry, not a name. You want to create a new JavaScript file. You call it home screen. Home screen .js. Okay, and again, I'm going to use the snippet to create my functional component home screen, and I'm going to just say here hello home screen. This is where we're going to create all our home screen files, I mean UI and things like that. I'll save this, and then I'll go to the app.js file, and inside the app.js file I'm going to say home screen. So make sure this is imported. In my case, it gets imported automatically. You can see I have the home screen imported here from screens and home screen. Now if I save this, we should have home screen on the emulator. What's up? Okay, it's there, but just that it's hidden in the status bar. That's why the need of status bar comes. So normally all these stars, they are not important here in the app.js. All these stars that I did paste previously, remember, normally they will be mostly used in the home screen because they are the home screen stars. So I'm going to cut them. I'll cut all these stars and paste them inside our style sheet in the home screen. Okay, we paste them there. Also go back to the app, but you can still create a container style here, just because we're using one container at the top here. So we should have that, which is just going to be a flex of one. Leave it as a flex of one, that's all. And copy these two. Actually, you could just cut them because we're not going to use them here. cut these two and paste them here. Alright, and also you need to import dimensions API from React Native, so we can use it here and save that. And also inside here you can save the app.js file, and then inside the home screen you can pass the styles to this, styles equal to styles dot container. Okay, don't worry about all these errors because we're busy developing live. It's quite normal. And in this container I'm gonna remove this just now. I'm gonna just pass padding top, which will be parameters dot header height. So now let's keep it like that. Save. And what is it saying? This error with all this import. Okay, it's quite normal because this import we just copied from app.js. Remember, they are at different levels. This is a nested file, so we have to get out of this file by double putting two dots, and that will take us out to the global level. I think this should sort the problem. And it seems that the problem is still there. What is it saying again? There's still some import that are not correct. What is it that it's not correct? Let me see. I see the problem. I'm importing with a mistake here. This is not supposed to be source, because remember I just copied this from app.js. So to remove the source src, remove that because we're importing directly from global. So this should solve the problem. Let's reload. Alright, you can see hello home screen there. That means your home screen is now created. It's working 100%. Good. So here I want you to remove, it's not actually header height, this should be status bar height. As I said, I'll show you how to get this from the Expo constant, but right now this is how I do it when I use React Native CLI. And I think most of you understand that I'm coming from React Native CLI. That's what I mostly use. I'm using Expo only for the purpose of tutorials, because many people have requested tutorials in Expo than React Native CLI. So, but personally for all the work project, I do them in React Native CLI. But I also found Expo very convenient and matured now that I've tried to use it. And okay, that being said, I'll save. Awesome. Now we have home screen connected. Now we will begin coding. The coding will be quick because you have most of the styles already in. But before we proceed, there are some libraries that are key that we need to install, one or two for now. The first library that we're going to install, it's React Native Elements. It's one of my favorite, and I think most of you know it already. If you have watched other tutorials on this channel, you know it's a library that you have installed before. But for those who are new, if you go to Google, just type React Native Element. and you will see their website. There are a lot of components that are pre-made and they make life very easy. This is their website, reactnativeelement.com, and they have a very decent documentation. You can see various components here that you can use out of the box. And alright, I use them for some, and like icons and things like that, but you can do a lot of things with React Native without all these libraries. But in this case I'm going to use it. Let's use it. Makes life easier. But React Native is already easier, but if people still keep making it even much easier, what can we do? We can just flow with everything. And here we have your installation procedures. If it's your first time to use this library, you can go to getting started, and that will take you to the installation procedures. And if using React Native CLI or Expo and all that, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to use yarn, and after that you're gonna also have to install vector icons, okay, because this library works with vector icons and so forth. So you can copy this or that. I'm going to use yarn, so I'm gonna do yarn add. I have yarn installed on my machine. Understand that now yarn comes already as part of npm, so if you have Node installed, you should have access to yarn as well generally. But yeah, so I'll paste that there and I will install this library. I'm gonna pause the video and resume when it finished installation. The installation is done. I've successfully installed the library, and if you go back to that website, if you are using React Native CLI, and there is a lot of things that you have to add, but yeah, you're gonna have to link and all this. So just follow the instructions, and we're gonna have to install also React Native safe context, right, and gesture animation. So the first one, we can copy this and install again. Go there, install it, and go back again. There's some quite a number of packages that you need to install. It says you must also add React Native vector icons, so I will use yarn. That's my favorite as usual. Go paste it in your terminal, and that will install React Native vector icons as well. And once that is done, so just follow this documentation. I think we've installed most of the things. It tells you that you will need to link this library, and we are using Expo. Let's see what it's saying for Expo users. Okay, this is fine, but anyway, we're just gonna link it. Just copy that. You don't want to do any harm to your project. And generally, the saying nowadays, you don't generally need to link your packages if you are using React Native. So, but sometimes I see that it still fails. You are using React Native CLI, make sure you link this package as it says there. Okay, but for Expo, guys, I think we should be done. You don't need to link anything. So let me just run my project again. Expo start. Alright, now we have installed all those packages. We can use them. So what I will do is I'm going to import it, but we can simply copy and paste that because I have this project already. So go to your import, you can paste. I've pasted this library because we're gonna need some icons, and let me open these things. We're starting from the header of your project. You see we have a menu icon here, and you have this jumbotron, you can call it whatever, which is in the blue, and you have a car here at an angle of about 45 degrees, and you have a button there, and you have this text looking nice, and you have this scroll menu, even though there are not more elements for it to scroll, and all these items, and finally we have the map at the bottom. So let's begin creating all these things. Normally I would have had this project running on the simulator or emulator, but I won't be able to run two projects on the emulator. As I said, I'm having a small computer right now, and that's giving problems. Sorry for that, guys, but I'm trying my best, and hopefully in the near future I will have a powerful computer which can run multiple emulations. So in order to do that part, we're going to open a view. You can delete this now, we don't need this anymore. Open a view, okay, and pass some styles to this view. Styles, and this will be styles. Styles, I mean styles object, and this we're gonna pass it a style of header. Okay, if you check in your style sheet at the bottom here, we have the header style, which is here. Okay, you should have this. As I said, you can check this on GitHub or so, or whatever. You can type it yourself. It depends to you, it's up to you. So we have this header style here, and inside this view we're going to create another view, and pass also a style to this view, which will be styles.icon1. As I said, all the styles are at the bottom. If you have a look at icon1 style, let's see if I can find icon1 style. It should be on the top, I think. I guess it's icon1. Here it is. It is simple style. It has a margin left of 10 and margin top of 5. So all the styles that we're using up there, they are already created in our style sheet. This was just to show that everything we're doing are already existing and at your disposal. Now we have imported icon on top here from React Native element. We're gonna use that icon here. Most of you guys know already how to create icon component if you have been following tutorials on my channel. So we simply pass some type, pass some type to it. In this case it's gonna be material community. Okay, sorry for that, guys. I think there have been some hiccups. Let me close this. I don't need this anymore. Importing this from material community. And the name of the icon will be the menu icon, because that's what we're trying to do. Menu. And color, we'll grab the colors. So we need to, okay, we have imported the colors already from global styles here. Okay, let me just pull that up. So colors, This will be colors dot white. I think that's it. Also have to add the size. Give it 40, and that's it for this component. Let's save it. So let me check my emulator. What's happening here? I think I did close it. I'm going to run again. Okay, first of all, let me save this project. You can save your project, and if your emulator is running, you should have something. Mine is not running. Let me run it so I can tell what's happening. So it should run anytime soon. It's loading. So while it's loading, let's keep moving. We're going to import something, call it scroll view. Import scroll view component from React Native. Here it is. Okay, I see that we have a error. What is it about? Why is it complaining? It's saying it doesn't find React Native element. We did install. Let's go to our package.json. Okay, this is very funny because even though I did install React Native element, I see that it didn't get installed. You can see in my dependencies here, there's no React Native element, so I need to reinstall that, strangely. So I will reinstall React Native element. I'm gonna go to my terminal and I'll do yarn again, add React Native element. So let's see if this will get installed this time around. It's very strange that it didn't get installed. I tell you, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's saying that it's not there. So let's see what happens. Okay, I see now it says that it has installed it successfully. You can see success here, and you can see React Native element now being installed in our package.json file. Alright, let's save it. Hopefully that will solve the problem. So now I have to run my project again because I did kill the terminal. So this will be Expo start, and where's my emulator? Let me close this, and we have the client up there. So let's now launch the Android. This will start shortly. So as I said, we are building the home screen, and we are here. We've been building this top part. You can see we have a blue there, and okay, my emulator is now running. Sorry for that noise, guys, just moving my chair. Sorry for the noise, sorry. If you are not subscribed yet to this channel, please do subscribe. It's a way to support this channel and to grow it, and also like the video and write a comment. Even if you don't have anything to write, just say good or fine or I like it. That's to support the channel and make it grow, because your comment and likes and subscription help YouTube to promote these videos to other people who are searching this type of content on YouTube. And also I appreciate it when I see the subscription increasing. That means that people are interested in the type of content that the channel is supplying. Alright, so you should have this on your app. Alright, you should have the icon at the top of your app, as you can see it there, and you should have also this nice blue. Okay, but it's something that I don't like. I don't like this distance from here to there, as well. I don't want this status bar to be white. I want it to be blue. If you see on the picture, sorry, I have to open this picture with the right up. I'm just gonna open it now. If you see there, you can't see the status bar properly, but you can see it's dark blue. So let's first implement that. I'm going to implement the status bar. So some of you guys know already how to implement all these things, but there are many people who are watching these videos, different audience, so I have to be considerate for everyone. And if you already know what I'm saying right now and think you can skip the video, you are welcome to do so, to go to the part which interests you. But to be fair to everyone, I have to be as detailed as possible for all the audience, because some people come to learn, some people have low knowledge, others are high knowledge, so we have to be balanced. Okay, and we're gonna pass the background color to this status bar, and make sure the status bar is imported. So we have status bar imported on top here from Expo status bar, so make sure that it is imported. And yeah, so we pass the color to the status bar. What color do I want in here? It's gonna be 2058 C0, and I want it to be translucent. I'll pass this prop to be true, and let me open the emulator and see what happens. Okay, let me have this small so that we have both the emulator and all this running together, which is important. I'm going to save. Awesome, now you see the status bar is there, and this is really great, isn't it? That is great. This is Uber 4.2. I think now they are at 4.6 or so. So by the time I created the project, it was the most up-to-date Uber was 4.2. But if there are a lot of change, I will create the next videos with the next version of Uber. But the main thing is first to understand how this can be done. All right. So I want to change this height here. So to change that, I think I'm gonna have to play around with the, let's see, header style. Here's header. So what will happen if I comment this out? Let's see. Apparently this is not updating in real time. That's very strange. Padding top, I'll pass the status bar. That's correct, because I wanted to have this space in between to be known. And let's say if we align center this, let's see what happened. Okay, that means it's responding. I just wanted to check because I did change here, I didn't see any response. It's indeed responding. I thought maybe my emulator was down, but it's okay. Alright, that's the right place for it to be. And padding top, giving the status bar height. Alright, I see this is not supposed to be okay. This is what we want. This is exactly what we want. So because remember we did pass this height already into the container, so you don't have to pass it all over. I hope you get what I mean. You have padding top here, status bar height, so that means all the children will have this padding, so we don't need to pass the same again here because it has been already catered for by the parent component. So we can simply delete this, we don't need it at all. Awesome. Now we're going to create the second part. We have created the first part. Oh man, what's happening? Just want to show the picture of what we're doing. Sorry guys. Okay, we are here. I hope you guys can see properly. Let me try to zoom. Now I'm drawing some stuff. So we've done the top part. Now we're going to create this text as well as this view. So you go to back to our project. We open a scroll view because these things should be scrollable. Sorry, not inside here. They should be outside. Called scroll view. You open the scroll view component. And inside the scroll view, open a view. And inside this view, we're going to pass some styles. This will be styles dot home. All these styles are created already. And okay, I just want to pass a style here. I mean a property called bounces. I'll say set it to false for now. And inside this style, I'm going to create a text component, and this I'll call it distress your commute. Okay, it's happening. All right, distress your commute. So you're gonna pass some styles to this as well. Okay, styles dot text one, call it text one, and let's save that for now. Awesome, we have that distress your commute. And going to the next part. still inside this view, go down, open another view, and this view we're gonna call it, we're gonna pass a style to it, and this will be stars.view1, and open again another view inside this view, so my computer is really struggling. And here we're gonna pass some stars to it, stars.view8, going to pass stars.view8, and inside this view we're going to create a text component, and here going to write some text. I don't want to type all this text, I'm just gonna copy them and paste. I'm going to paste some text inside here, copy view. Alright, so you can type this text. So when we do the back end, we're gonna do in such a way that this text come from the database so that they can be changed from time to time by the app managers and things like that. So now after this we're going to create another view which will be the button. Alright, we need to create the button. There's a black button that must be created, and just beneath this text there's a button, so we're gonna create a view, and we pass some stars to this view, and this will be stars.button1. So saying we're having some errors. Why is it? Okay, this is the reason why. Close that. And the button has got some text on it, and that will be text, and the text on the button simply says ride with Uber. Okay, ride with Uber, and let's save and see what's happening. Okay, we have something there, something is happening, but you need to pass stars to this too, because you can see this is supposed to be white and supposed to have white text here, but it's all dark. So go to text component, pass some stars to it. This will be stars, that will be stars.text2. Alright, .text2. Save that and let's see. You have that's awesome. And also on this we must pass some stars, and that will be stars.button1 text, right? Star equal to stars.button1 text. Let's save and see what happens. So this is good. This is getting close to what we want. Now we have to get the car. Hopefully, let me just open my picture. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint me again. So yeah, here we have created all this. Now we need to create the car as well as this shape, isn't it? So we have created all this on top as well as the button. So now we must create that car and the shape, and that's not hard. It's not hard. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to get this car, and yeah, we're going to the asset. I'm going to add a picture of that car, and let me search for it. So I'm going to drop a picture in this asset. So this is the picture I've dropped. This is the car in question. So we're going to add this. All this you're gonna see it on GitHub. I'm gonna leave it on GitHub for you to download it and add it to your project. But as I said, you're gonna find all this asset, but you won't find all this code that we're typing, because this is part of the tutorial, and yeah, I'm just trying to help you be fast, but you have to code, because if I just give you, you're not learning anything. And the main purpose of these tutorials is to teach you, so that you can learn something. But if you know already, you simply want the project, drop me an email, and yeah, we're gonna take it from there. So now you have the picture inside our project. We have the picture inside our project, so we can use it inside our app. But before using, we must first import the picture, the image component from React Native. So I'm gonna say image from React Native, and once you have that, then we'll be able to use it. So what we will do is scroll down to where the button is, because just beneath the button, right? So outside of this button, and skip one view, and outside of this, open another view. Open another view. And inside this view, sorry for that noise, guys, just the neighbor closing their doors. Okay, sorry. So inside this view, I was saying open a image component. Going to use an image component, and close that, self-closing, and we're gonna pass some styles to it. And I'm gonna say styles equal to styles dot image1, and we're gonna pass another prop, which is the source, of course, and this we're gonna say source equal to require. I use the require method, and go out twice, go to asset, and inside asset called Uber car. I think that's what the name of the picture. You could give it whatever name, but I've decided to give it a name of Uber picture, and the extension is PNG file. And let's save it. Hopefully this works. Awesome, there's the magic, guys. So you have the Uber car at a 90-degree angle, and this looks perfect. At least to me, that's my opinion. It looks great. And write in the comment if you think it looks great for you as well. And now the second part that we must do, let me open my meaningless picture, we need to create these items as well, and these items as well we will need to create some pictures for them. I've created all these pictures already for you guys. Normally, as an app designer, or app developer, you will always work with some graphic designers. In my company, I work with graphic designers as well, so they make the job easier. They create all the graphics, the look of the app. You simply come and put your JavaScript code and some JSX. So to have a great looking app, you need to have great designers. That's very important. Everything will not be done in code. There's some stuff that need to be designed with graphic design tools, and you cannot be everything in one. If you are a great graphic designer, that's also great that you can do everything. But in my case, I'm not a graphic designer. We have a graphic designer at work, and he helps with everything, logos and everything, the look of the app. So we work really hand in hand. Okay, so this is what we're going to implement now. So you must first get those pictures. As I said, I have them already. I'm going to make your job easier. I'm going to put them in the asset folder, and also they will be found on GitHub, so you don't have to create them yourself. Okay, and I'm just gonna see which one they are. I've added those pictures. Let me show you. Here is one, the first one. So the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So as I said, they are created already, and you just have to download them, or you can create your own if you wish to. It's up to you, but at least you have the idea of how this is done. And now let's write the code to have this inside our app and looking great. So you're going to open another view, going to open a view, and we're going also to create a flat list. So first thing, import the flat list component from React Native. So I'm importing that from React Native, as you can see there. Okay, and once that is imported, sorry, I just want to make this bigger. Once that is imported, you scroll down back to the code, and now we're going to open a view. This view will be put here. Okay, something is not right with my computer, but yeah, let me try and push and open the flat list component, self-closing component, and the first prop I will pass the number of rows. It's gonna be 4 because I'm gonna just be putting 4 items. And yeah, it has to be horizontal, obviously. Put that to true, and I don't want it to show any scroll bar or anything, so I'm gonna say shows horizontal scroll indicator to false. Set that to false. And the data, we need to import data. Remember, I did show you a list of data that we created inside the global folder here. Okay, so we're going to use the filter data. If you scroll up, this is the data we're going to use. I've created this. You see that this is simply taking images and giving them to each image. So it's an array of objects, and each object has got the name of the item as well as the path and method which requires the picture. It's not so clear, but let me yes, this is what it is: array of object, and simply see that names and so forth. Okay, so it's very simple, and each object has got an ID. That's very important. And but this ID is when we put it in the MongoDB, it will be generated automatically. We won't have to generate this, and this data will be coming from the database so that it can be generated dynamically. Let's say in the future, if you want to add one more filter or another service, you can simply add it here and it will be reflected on all the users. So let's import that. Say filter data, right, from global. Now let's pass it to our flat list. So we're gonna say data, this will be equal to filter data, and key extractor must extract the key. So I'm just gonna say item, for example, item.id. Alright, this is the ID that is found in each object. And then let's render these items, because that's the reason why we're using the flat list, is to render the array of items or of object. And here we're gonna say this will take some item here. You want the index anyway, you can leave it out, and this should retain the card. So we're going to open a view, the view, and let's pass some styles to this view. Definitely there need to be styles. This will be equal to styles dot card. Styles. Yeah, we give it the card styles, right? That's correct. And open another view, and also pass some styles to this view. Styles dot, I think this is view 2 if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. And now inside this view, let's render an image. Those image that we have just added with the food and package and the ride. So those are the images that we're going to render inside this image component. And let me see if I can show you what we're trying to render now. So these are the image that we're rendering with the flat list, and you see that below each image there's a text, right? So we must also create that. Open another view, and inside this view we're going to pass the text that I've just shown you, that is beneath or below each component, I mean each picture. And we're gonna pass the data dynamically, right? So we're gonna say this will be item dot name, like that, and we must pass some stars to this text. Stars dot title. Okay, and we need to pass some prop to the picture as well, to the image component. The first one is the star prop. So this will be styles dot image 2 because we have so many images in this app. And we also need to pass the source prop. The source will be equal to item dot image. Right. Okay, let's cross our fingers. Gonna go to the emulator now and see what happens. I'm going to save this. Okay, getting some errors. I think this should be easily sorted. Saying okay, I'm gonna check what's going on. Oh, I see the problem. I think I made a mistake here. This is supposed to be num rows, not columns, because this is horizontal scroll view, so it has to be rows instead. Sorry for that. Num rows, and I'll save that. Let's see if this solved the problem. Awesome. Okay, it solved the problem, but it shows blue all over. Something is not right. So let's see why we're having blue. Why are we having blue in this? What if I took this out of here, cut that, and simply paste it inside the scroll view, plain scroll view. Let's see. Alright, this looks to work. This is great. I think this is what we wanted. Isn't that what we wanted? And let's see our cheat sheet. So yeah, this is perfect. Now we need to create this, and we're almost getting there. We're almost half the way. Gonna get to the map soon. So now we're gonna create another view just beneath this. Create a view, and we pass a style to this view. It will be styles view. Stars equal stars dot view 3. Okay, and inside this we're gonna pass some text component. Sorry. Text component, and here we're gonna say where to. It's a question mark, and open another view. And to this view pass the icon star equal to stars dot view 4. Okay, and we're gonna create an icon, because if you see there's an icon on that thing. Sorry, it just closes itself. Some problem with my computer. So this is what we're creating. We have an icon at the left as well as at the right. So we must create those icons, and I don't want to repeat myself because we have created an icon on top here. So I'm gonna copy this and simply change the names and all that, so we don't waste time. Time is so precious, guys. So I'm just gonna copy this icon, and inside this view we paste that icon. We're gonna change the name just now, and let's squeeze it in. Like that. It should be, props should be inside so we can properly see the component. So the name, I'm gonna change that to, the first icon is a clock, right? Clock, and the time is 4, so it's like that. And the color I'm going to change to gray 1, and the size can put 26. And now after this icon there's a text component, right? We saw that there is now, so we need to create a now text. So we're just gonna put the now, and let's pass a style quickly. We don't have to create it in the style sheet. So what's happening now? Text style, gonna pass some styles to it, just margin left, you can give it 5. Now there's another icon after that. All right, there's another icon. If I can open, sorry, if I can open after this, now there's another icon at the right. So let's create that icon, copy again this icon, and paste it after the text. Okay, and okay, so gonna change this the name. This time around it's gonna be simply a chevron down, so it's gonna be a chevron. So I think that's incorrectly down. Okay, and that should be it about this one item. Let's save and see if this will work. Okay, this looks like it's kind of working, but not exactly. It's complaining first of all about the clock time 4. Okay, why is it complaining? Clock time 4. Okay, I see the stupid thing I did. This is supposed to be material. I think I put it on the wrong place. Sorry guys, I think I'm tired already because it's been just a long day from work, and I had to quickly do this and copy material there and paste it there, and that should sort the problem. Okay, now let's see if this looks like what we want. Yeah, it's kind of what you want, right? That's looking good. No complaint really. I'm happy with that. So, but I see there's supposed to be some margin or padding here on where to. Let's see. Where is that text? Where to? Just looking for where to. Here it is. So it's supposed to pass some styles to that, because it doesn't look as good as it's supposed to be. Styles, you can pass some styles to it. This will be text 3 thing. Okay, let's save. Let's see. All right, this is much better. And now going to create, we're getting there guys. We're gonna finish this today. Now we're going to create these two history text, right? And then finally we're gonna begin coding the map. So I'm going to scroll down and open a view. We're going to open a view and pass some stars to that view as usual. So open a view and we pass a star to it, telling us we have an error. I'm gonna check that now. And the stars be view 5. Okay, and open again another view, pass a star of 6 to it. View, okay, sometimes this snippet works, sometimes doesn't work. I don't know. I think the computer is too slow to compute all these things quickly. And per star, this will be equal to stars dot view 6. As I said, pass view 6 to it, and open again another view, pass view 7 to it. Just follow what I'm doing. Pass view 7 to it. All right, stars dot view 7, and inside this we're going to create an icon. Okay, as I said, we won't be creating icons again. We just copy what we've done, copy this icon on top here and paste it here. Okay, and the name changes to map marker. Okay, and the color we put black this time. Okay, and the size we put 22 instead of 26. As simple as that. And after this text, this view, below this view we open a text component. Text component, we pass some stars to it. And the stars here, I'm going to tap them, that's font size. So give it 18, and color, okay, colors dot black. This one will be the address, 32 Olivia. Olivia Road. Okay. Going to open another text input, text component, sorry. And this one we're gonna pass the address. I'm just gonna paste them down. You can put whatever, it's just for demonstration purpose, so it's nothing strict or any rule or whatever. So you paste that, and here you pass also some stars to it, and the star that we're gonna pass here is a color prop, which is gonna be colors dot gray grade 3. Okay, and we're going to open another view and create another icon, and first of all, these two texts must be inside a view as well, just to manage them properly. Create a view. Create the view as well, close the tag. Let's squeeze this in like that. Awesome. Now open another view here. So inside this view, going to do something. I'm gonna add an icon. Just copy an icon on top here. An icon, and everything is gonna be the same except the size, which we put 26, and the name we change it to chevron. Alright, and the color also we change it to gray. Like that. Okay, so okay, first of all, let's save this and see if so far everything is working before we continue. Okay, it looks like what we want. This is good, right? Now we're going to create the second part. Let me close this. Going to create this. You see that this and this, it's almost the same, right? So normally what we could do, we could map it. We could use the map method and render those two and just pass the props from the object. Okay, but just two elements, we can simply duplicate it. You can also do that. So you can use the map method, or you can use flat, but I'm just lazy. If it's two item, it's not bad. It's not so many code that we're gonna be duplicating. I'm just gonna copy this and paste so that we move a bit faster. I think that's the purpose. I'm gonna copy this view. You see it there, from stars 5 to, yeah, we copy that. You can see what I'm copying, and scroll down, and you're going to paste it somewhere there. Going to paste it here. Paste it down there. But there's one change that we're gonna do. Instead of having stars 5 like this, just put 2 there and spread these stars like that. Okay, and then from here we want to remove this border so that on the second one the border is not rendered. You see there's a line here, and we don't want that to be rendered in this case. So I'm gonna say border bottom width. This is the last one, I think. Put it to 0. And now let's save. Awesome, we are here now. We have those two. Let's see if this is what we wanted. Gonna open this. Yeah, exactly what we want, isn't it? So your emulator should be looking like this, or your phone. Now let's create this text and the map. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. This is good. So far so good. I think that's how they say it in English. So far so good. I'm not a native English. I assume you guys have already picked that up, my accent, but I'm trying my best to communicate. And yeah, so, and by the way, just give me a comment. How is my accent? How is my communication? How is my English? Just type in the comment. I want to hear from you guys. Just how is it going so far? And if you're having troubles understanding what I'm saying, or is everything perfect? Is there need for some improvement? Just type. I want to hear feedback from you guys. You know, you should always seek for feedback in your workplace, all over. Just, no one is perfect, right? No one is perfect, and we always improve every day. So we're gonna open a text component and pass a styles to it. We're gonna say styles. It's gonna be text 4 that we're passing to it, and this will be the one saying around you. Around you. Okay. And let's save that and see if this works. Awesome. Now the next thing we must create is the map, if I'm not mistaken, with the cars showing your location where you are and the Uber cars around you. This is where we are now. We must create this. It should show your location. It should show the cars around you, the Uber cars. These cars will be the coordinates will be sent from the server. The server will search around you, see what cars are available around you, and send you the information and all that. So let's begin. Now, to create the map, we first need to install that library. Okay, so, and there's a bit of configuration, even though it's very minor compared to React Native CLI, but there's few configuration that must be done in order for your Google Map to work inside your app, and it's very straightforward. I'm going to show how to do it in Expo. This is an Expo project. I'm not gonna I mean, the procedure is different if you are using React Native CLI, and you can see all the information on Google. For those who are using Expo, simply type React Native Maps Expo on your Google. And if you are using React Native CLI, simply type React Native Maps and go to this GitHub repo. There's all the information on how to install. You can see installation instructions. You follow that. It's straightforward. But I won't focus on this because I'm not developing on React Native CLI. This is an Expo project. If you are struggling to install Google Map and set it up, please write in the comment if you are using React Native CLI, so I can assist you, because I've set that up on React Native CLI as well. I know exactly what to do. But I think most of you are using Expo, and this is an Expo project. We're using all of us Expo. So type React Native Maps Expo and tap that, search that. This will take you to Expo website. Take the first link you have map view. We are on Expo, docs.expo.dev and all these things. This is the URL at which you should be. Scroll down. There's the procedure on how to install this. The first thing, you install the library. So we're gonna copy that. Expo install React Native Maps. There's one thing that I need to mention here, and this will be valid as we go forward. For now it's not a problem, but when we begin implementing Google Directions and autocomplete, there is a bug that I've discovered with Expo, and I think there is an issue open on GitHub which is not yet closed, but I will talk in details when we get to the point, or when it will be needed. And that is mostly with Expo, I think it's 42 43, the one that I've installed right now. This one is giving problem with Google Map, with Google Direction and all that, but I will talk to it when it's time to work on Google Direction, because it's with Google Direction where we're having some problems, and we will sort that out. But for now, we're going to install the map. So just type Expo install React Native map, and this will begin installing our map. I'm going to pause and resume once the installation is done. The installation is done, but we cannot use the map yet. We cannot use Google Map yet. We need to get the API key from Google. So you must have a Google account. If you have a Gmail, that means you have a Google account already, and you need to create the API key. I'm gonna show you how to do that quickly. Go to Google, okay, log in. Like now I'm logged in as efficient.contact, and go to Google Console. Just type Google Console, okay, reach Google Console and go to console.cloud.google.com. open that. Okay, this will open your Google Cloud account, and this is the console. So you will see we have APIs there, and for example, if I go to libraries, to say welcome to the API libraries and so forth. And if you see we have maps here. I'm just trying to see why is it not scrolling. Okay, let's go back there. Okay, it's asking me to search for things, but let me just see what messages I'm having. Okay, that's okay. And also you will need to enable the billing. Okay, you want to be billed. Generally Google will give you about $300 in your account, so you might need to enable the billing. In my case, I've not done anything yet, and you can see everything is plain. So first of all, let's go back to this. We're going to activate some APIs. For example, if you scroll down here, as I'm scrolling, just verifying these things today. You see we have Maps SDK for Android and Maps JavaScript and all those type of things. Okay, so we're going to enable a bunch of libraries, but before that we must first activate. You're gonna see an activate button in your right hand. You see start your free trial with all this amount. Don't worry, you won't be charged and all this. So activate that. That's very important. There are information that you have to fill. I have an account already. This is not the account that I'm using, but fill all this information and all those type of things, and accept all the terms and conditions. They will ask you for your phone number. You can put your phone number. I won't put my details right now because I have an account already. Once you have put all those information and all that, your account will be activated. I think they might ask you for your card, your bank details, your credit or debit card information, but they won't deduct anything. That is promised unless you exceed $300, which is unlikely, and especially for a small project and demonstration project. Once that is done, you're gonna come and activate all these APIs. For example, you can click enable Maps JavaScript. This is mostly if you're using it on the web. But for Android and all these other things, we're gonna activate the other one. Let me just let this finish since I've tried or started it already. As I said, this is important if you're using the APIs on the web, like for website and things like that. But in our case, we're mostly going to need to enable the Java one, which is the one that is used on Android. Go back. You're gonna see Maps SDK for Android. That's what we will need. Okay, and there's also Maps SDK for iOS. If you're developing for iOS, you're gonna have to enable this. In my case, I'm enabling for Android because I'm developing for Android. I assume most of you are also developing for Android, and enable that. You can see I didn't activate my account, but I would recommend you to activate it to get full access to all the features and things like that, because the API that I'm using, API key that I'm using on my project is actually the one that has got full access. Like I've got my bank card and all those type of things to Google. So it says now that this API has been enabled. You can activate other as well. Let's activate the Google direction straightforward. Let's not waste time. I'm going also to activate Google direction API. We enable that because we're gonna need that. It takes a bit of time to enable. We have enabled Google direction. I think the other one that we might need to enable is geocoding, even geolocation. Let's enable all these things. Enable this and scroll down again. Is there anything else we need to enable? Google Places, yes, we need to enable this because we're going to be doing autocomplete and all that. Enable Places API as well. Let's see what else we need to enable. I think we've enabled most of the APIs that we will need for the moment. Geolocation, let's enable geolocation as well. Just click there and click enable. It's as simple as that. So we have enabled all these APIs. Now we need to generate an API key. Okay, you need to enable an API key. To do that, at your left hand, or you're gonna see credentials. If you click on credentials, you will see that there will be a key generated. Okay, in my case there was one that was generated long time ago, but if you don't have one already generated, there will be a place where they're gonna ask you to create credentials and API key. You can see, you just click there and then you go to create credentials and then API key. If you click there, and then it will tell you it's creating your API key, and this is your API key. This is what we're gonna use. You can copy that. Don't try to use my API key because it won't work. After this, I will simply cancel it. Since you have seen it, I will definitely not leave it. I will delete it, or after this video. Right after this video, it will be deleted. It won't be operational. So you copy that API key and you're going to use it in our project. I think that's all in terms of generating the API key. And then go back to your to your project. There's still some more setup that we need to do. You have copied your API key, and then go to the app.json file. This is the last settings before we use the map. App.json file. Here you're gonna have to put your API key. and we're gonna do this for iOS as well as for Android. Okay, and you scroll down. Let's start with Android. Inside this Android object, under it you're gonna create one, and let me just see if there's nothing created yet. Okay, the first one we have to create the package name, so just underneath this. Okay, we're going to type package like that, and the package name must first put a comma there. The package name will become .uber clone. If you have used that, this is the name of your project, Uber clone. In my case, they can all be small letters, doesn't matter. And then in the end put comma. Okay, so you have created the package name, and this is, as I said, it's supposed to be inside this Android object. So you see it's inside. Okay, and okay, I see it's giving an error. I'm just trying to see why I'm getting this error. Okay, that's okay because it's not the last thing. And then create another object inside the same Android object. Create the other object, to call it config. Okay, and inside this config, it's gonna be an object, and we're gonna use the service that we're gonna put the service that we're going to use, so that Expo knows exactly what service we are using, and we pass the API key for that service, and the name of the service is Google Maps. Okay, and this will be an object. We pass API key. It's gonna be a JSON object, JavaScript. So go pass API key, and here you're gonna put the API key that you've generated. If anyone is struggling with generating API keys, please write in the comment. After posting these videos, I'll be replying to all comments. I'll be checking for comments that are coming so that I can reply to them. So if you're having any issue, please write them in the next 24-48 hours. So I should be able to reply to you within a few hours. So I'm gonna paste the API key that I've generated from my Google console. So as I said, this will be deactivated right after this tutorial, so it won't be working. So make sure you create your own API key, and if you have problem, just let me know. So we have done this, and we also need to pass a permission object. Okay, because sometimes we need to do that in order to access to have all these location APIs working properly. So we're gonna pass another object, it's permission. Just below that, type permission, permissions, and to this gonna be an array of permissions that we want to get access from. From Expo. This is an array of permissions that we want. Let's just put a bunch of permissions for now. The first one is going to be access I don't even know how to read this course or something, but yeah, anyway, location. Now this, put it in capital letters. And the other access that we want is access find location. I'm just putting all of them, so whenever we use these services, we don't have to come and work on the app.json file anymore. So make sure you get all this right, because this is the foundations of everything that we're going to be building in the future in this project. So foreground, service. So these are the permissions that we need, really not much. We can save this. And for iOS, it's almost the same thing. So if you go scroll up, if you're developing for iOS, you're gonna get, you have this object here for iOS, right? And you should have this support tablet too. And below this, create this add more object. We're gonna add first bundle identifier. Say bundle. This is for iOS developers. If you're developing for iOS as well, do this identifier. Sorry, identifier bundle identifier. Make sure you spell this correctly. And here you're gonna put the name of your app, right? Gonna put the name of your app. In my case, it's Uber clone. Okay, so it starts with .com, the same way we did with Android, but Android is package and they just change the things, but yeah, it's the same thing. We put that here and put comma. Then we're gonna also pass the config object, config, which will take an object, and here it's gonna take the API key as well, but instead of just API key, they put it differently. They say Google Maps API key. It's gonna be Google Maps API, sorry, API key. And here you put your API key which you have generated. I'm gonna paste it. So I think that should be it. That should be it, guys. Make sure there's a comma there, sorry. So this is all the setups you need to do in order to use your Google Maps. And if you have any question, if you're having problems, if you're not getting it right, the comments are there. Write in the comment. I prefer you guys to write comment than sending emails, so that same questions are not repeated. And yeah, so please comment instead of sending emails. Send emails only if it's a private request. But if you're having any problem related to the project, please do not send the emails. Simply write in the comment so that it can assist someone else, because the question that you might be having, someone else might also be having the same question. So if you ask it in the comments, I will reply once and everyone will see the reply, and it can help someone else. Okay, so these are the configuration that you've done. Make sure they look the same. So these are the configurations. So we have Android configuration, we have iOS. You can save that. I have to go into details like this because some people have not worked with Google Map before. So if you have worked with Google Map before, you have to be patient with those that have not worked with Google Map before, so that they can also learn and be able to work with Google Map. So we're gonna go back to our home screen. Now we're gonna continue implementing our Google Map, which is the last part on this home screen, I think. So we're going to open a view just below this. Open a view. And to this view, we're gonna pass some styles. We're just gonna say styles align items, align to the center, and you're also going to justify the content. Justify content, just say center. And we're going now to create the map. Must first import Google Map. Okay, must first import Google Map. So we can go up here below React Native element. Can just make a space there and paste that. This is the import. So I'm importing map view from React Native Map. I'm also importing a provider, which is Google. You will see why we're importing that just now. And then go back. So this map will take some children. So we're gonna say map view, and we're gonna pass props to it. The first one will be the provider. Say provider. This will be provider Google, and we pass some styles. Map need the style to render, and styles we're gonna say styles dot map. We're gonna also pass the custom styles. I want to show you something. I think this is one of the things that you'll notice. If you open your Uber app, you'll see that their map color is not a standard color that you see on your phone or from other YouTubers. Their map color is as dark as this one. This is the actual Uber map color. So I've tried to create these styles, and I see that many people on YouTube, they don't manage to change the styles of this map. You can change the color of the map, and there's a way to do that. But I've created this already for you. I will make a separate video on how to do that, because this is not the purpose of this video, but I'm just showing you to see the difference in the color of this map, which is the exact color on Uber. So if you open your normal Google Map on your phone, you see that the color is different. And there's a style that I've created already. I'll show you that. If you I'll put it on GitHub as well. You will find it in assets. So if you go down, scroll down in your asset. No, it's not in the asset. I have actually to put it. It's actually in the, where is it supposed to be again? It's supposed to be in the global, I think. Yes, it's in the global. Actually, we have to put it in the global styles. Sorry, it's not in the asset. I was mistaken. I have to put it inside here. So let me just copy the style that I've created for the map. This is the custom style. We call it custom styles for your map. So this is, I've put a file inside the global. So this is map style.js. I've just opened it now. You see, this is the style in question. It's an array of styles dictate what your map should look like for all different elements on the map. For example, the road, the street, the rivers and empty space and ground and mountains, and so all those type of things you dictate them, and this is the styles. So please find this on my GitHub repo in this project. If you go to the global folder, you're gonna find it inside the global folder, and it's map style.js file. Now we have to import that style in order to use it in our map so that we can change the color of the map. But before we do that, I'll first leave it so that you see the exact difference between the two. I'll pass the styles, and I think for now, let's first render this. Let's see if the map will be rendered. Let's just see. I think I will need to run my emulator again because I did close it. Alright, I see my project has completed the build. They successfully built. I assume yours as well. And there we have the map. Awesome. This is great. So this is looking good. It's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to render the map. Here it's the map. It's interactive. And yeah. But now this is not all that we want. And the first thing that I want us to do, it's first of all to change the style of the map. As I said before, you'll notice that if you open your your Uber, and you see the map on Uber is not this color, right? So we first of all need to change the color of this map to be exactly what Uber is, because this is Uber clone, and I did say that this is the real Uber clones, because there are a lot of clones out there and they really look something different. But yeah, we're gonna try our best in these tutorials to get as close as possible, and so to get the style to change, we're going to use the prop called custom styles. I think that's the right prop, right? Custom map styles, and we import the actual style. So the first thing, we must first import that style, and we're going to import let me just get this emulator giving some warnings. Okay, that's okay. So we're going to say import map styles from, not React Native, what's going on here? It's not from that. Remap style from, actually it's not make. I think this thing is giving me wrong suggestions. It's map styles, map style from, this will be global, and then map style, correct? And go down here to your map view, then put that map style. So once that is done, and we're going now to save and see what happens, right? Let's see if this will work, because as I said, this is the actual Uber color, this is the map color that we want, and right now this is what we have. It's kind of blue or somewhere in between. So let me save and see what we get. I'm going to make this smaller. There we have the right color. The map has changed. This is perfect. This is just awesome, guys. I'm excited that we're getting these things right. And so we have this star changed, and as I said, you're gonna find this in global folder under map styles, and that is on your my GitHub repo. And when you get this, please just click that star button on GitHub. Give this project as many stars as possible. Thank you. And now we need to render the cars as well as my current location. Okay, first of all, map view or React map comes with a prop called show my current, shows user location, right? Let's see if that prop works, because I know that generally on emulators we cannot get the current user location, because remember, the location comes from the GPS that is on your phone, right? You have a GPS on your phone, and whenever you inquire or you query your location, that GPS will connect to the GPS satellite and then send you back the location. But apparently the emulators do not have those features. But let's see, let's try, and let's see if I'm wrong or right. So the first one we're going to do is shows that is user location, I think. Yes, shows user location. Let's put it to true. And also we're going to pass a prop called follow user location. So whenever, even if the user is moved, this will keep updating. This is what's supposed to do. So put this. If it doesn't work on the emulator, it's still gonna work on your phone. If you have your Expo client app installed on your phone and you scan from the QR code, as I said earlier on, you scan the QR code, you will have the app running on your phone, and this will update on the map. It will show you your location on the map. So let me just save this. Let's see. You see, it's not working. It's not working because the emulator does not have GPS. But if I would, I'm just gonna take my client app on my phone right now. I'm having my phone, I want to scan it. You can be scanning yours as well in the meanwhile if you have not been using the client app, the Expo client app. This is just awesome, this app. It makes life easier, the development of mobile app easier. And so I'm busy just checking. I want to confirm this on my own phone to see if my user location will be shown or not, because right now on the emulator it's showing nothing, but it's supposed to be showing my current location. And I've opened my app on my thing. Alright, something is not right, because even on my phone I still don't see my current location. So there's something more than just so I have to see why is it that they're not showing my current location. So there's another problem. Alright, I'll check that now. So this is the good thing of having both the emulator as well as the client app, because now I can tell that the problem is not just the emulator, there's also a problem on my phone, which is the problem with the code. Good, I see what must be done. It's okay, because we're using Expo and you have to follow what Expo says about their component, right? So I want you to go to Expo. You're going to open a browser, go to Google. I'm just gonna open my browser right now. So go to Google quickly and you can type Expo location. We're going to use Expo location APIs, and you can click that link, take that link, and here Expo location allows reading geolocation information from the device. That is what we want, right? We want to take geolocation from the device. And yeah, so we're going to use this, we must first install this API. Copy that and go to your terminal and paste that Expo install Expo location. And while it's installing, let's see what Expo says after installing. And we need to do all these configuration permissions. Okay, all this we have done it already in our app .json file. Remember in the beginning when we were setting up the Google Map, I did add permissions and all those type of things. So yeah, that should be all that you would have needed to do. Yeah, so it's okay. You can now close this browser, you don't need it anymore. I think just follow now what I will be doing, and let's see what we get. You can close your browser and look at your screen what I will do now. Okay, scroll to the top of your project and import the library that you have just installed. I'm going simply to paste it in my case so we don't waste time. So import as you can see the location from Expo location. So once that is imported, we're going to also get some hooks from React. The first one is use state, and the second one that we're going to use is use ref, and you're gonna also have use effect. Sorry, and that's it for now. So we have all these APIs now at our disposal. So what do? I'm going to, we first have to initialize. Let me first create a reference for this map. Actually, I'm going to say const map equal to use ref, pass a reference, so we can have a reference for our map, and then scroll down to the map and pass a reference ref. This is the ref prop. We say this equal to map. Okay, and once this is done, the first thing that you have to do is you have to get permission. You see on your phone, if you're using locations, any app that is using location, in order to get information or to access the GPS, they're gonna first request the user to grant permission in order for your app to get access to the location APIs. I think that we've all gone through it. We all know what that it does and all that. There are times where you have to accept or granting access to a certain app to use your location, right? So we're going to do that. That's the first thing that must be done in order to access the GPS on your phone. So we're going to say const check permission. We call this function check permission, and this will be an asynchronous function. All right, and this function will check the permission. If the permission is not granted, we're gonna ask for it, right? So the first thing we check if the permission has already been given. So we check as permission been given, as permission. We can just say permission as permission. Await Then we're gonna access the location API from Expo. We say request foreground permission async. We take that because the app will be functioning when you're asking this. And we're gonna say if as permission, if this is true, if as permission dot status equal to granted, if the permission was granted by the user, say granted. If it was granted, we will say const permission call await ask permission. This is a function that we're going to create just now. This is a function that we call ask permission. This is the function which will do what? Will request the permission from the user. Okay. So when I say ask permission, and return the permission that we've just created on top there. Okay. And we can return true from this function check permission. Now let's create the ask permission function. Okay. Sorry guys, I see a mistake here. This is supposed to be permission. Alright, you can see that I did make a mistake there, so that is permission. That was a wrong spelling there. Okay, now we can say const ask permission. Alright, because you have called this function there, we now need to declare it. And this will be an asynchronous function as well, async. And what we'll do in this, we're gonna say const permission. Hopefully I get it right this time. Await location dot request foreground async. Return permission dot status. If this is granted, this is granted, so it will be returned. Okay. Now we need to create a function which will be called to in order to get the current user location. All right, we need to create that function so that when we're calling that function, we query the GPS on the phone to get the current user location, which will send us the coordinate latitude and longitude. All right, so I'm going to call it const get location. You can call it whatever name you want, but I'm calling it in my case get location because that's what it does. Get location, and it's gonna be an asynchronous function as well. So we're gonna try and say const destructor this variable from await location request foreground as usual. But before calling this function, we will make sure we have the permission, right? You have to make sure we have the permission, and so what we'll say, if granted is not true, that means the permission is not yet granted. If that statement is true, it's just gonna return. That means it's false, right? That means the permission was not granted, so we cannot go any further. We're gonna return. But if the permission was granted, then we're gonna carry on executing. So we can grab the coordinate. We do it like this, say const coordinate. So just say code, and we get the latitude as well as longitude. Okay, and then we're gonna say we grab all these things from location dot, this is the method which will be query, that will bring us which will return the current user location, meaning which will query the GPS to get the coordinate. So it's called current position, I think. Yes, get current position async. And now once we have all these things, we need to save them somewhere, right? We have to save all those things somewhere. So what I did is I did create this use state. Make sure you have it. I did create this state. I called it lat long. So this is where we're gonna be saving our latitude and longitude, and it's just a simple use state which will help us to keep the state for these things. So I'm gonna use that here. So what I will say is I'm going to set lat long, and what I will do is I'll say latitude it's an object, right? Latitude equal to latitude, and longitude equal to longitude. So longitude will be equal to longitude, right? So we're getting those coordinates and saving them in that state. So now let's say if there's an error, we need to be able to catch that error, right? So should be able to catch the error, and I'm just gonna say error there, and that's it. There's nothing that I want to do with that if there's an error. Now you have to be able to know when do we want to get the user coordinate. When must we call this function that we've just created? What is the right time to do that? So as I said, before calling this function, we must first ask for permission. We must first check the permission. If the permission is granted, then we will be able to use this function. So what we're gonna do, let's say that whenever they upload, then we get the user current location. So I'm going to say, gonna use this hook called use effect. It takes a callback as well, and some list of parameters that it should listen to. From this tab, there's nothing to listen for, and so what I will do, I'm going to check for permission, check for user permission, and once that has been checked, then I can get the location, right? Get the location like that. So that's about it, and I'm going to save this. Also here I'm going to console log. I want to console log, or let's do it inside this function. Okay, console log. That is those coordinates there. So I'm going to run my emulator, and alright, you can see I've successfully launched my emulator. Let me just make this small. My emulator is now running. I'm going to just share the screen. So this is what I'm expecting you to get. Now you can see this function is running. We're asking the permission to access the device location. So I'm gonna say allow, and awesome, you can see we're getting the user coordinates. Here they are. You can see at the bottom in my terminal, we have this log of the user coordinate. Even though this is wrong, this is not the right coordinate, because this location is not where I am. But if you check on your device, you will be getting the right one. The emulator does not have a GPS, so that's why we're getting this wrong latitude and longitude. But if you are using your device, you should get the right coordinate of your place. So as I said, this is due to the fact that the emulator does not have a GPS, and I think it's not yet coded or something. I'm not sure. If you have any information on that, you can let me know in the comment. But as far as I know, the emulator always gives us wrong GPS coordinate for some reason, especially when I'm using Expo. But when you use your Expo app client, meaning you have your phone and running your app on your phone, then you should have the right readings. And let's check exactly what's happening now on the app itself. So on the app, you should have this icon now showing. So if you zoom, it will take you to the location. It's saying that this is my current location, but as I said, this is a wrong location. And yeah, but if I scan on my mobile phone, let me just scan on my mobile phone. I'm going to use my phone and use the Expo client app to run this application directly on my phone, and let's see what I will get. I assume you've been running it on your phone and you're getting the right location. If you are getting the right location, please write in the comment. Awesome. On my phone, I'm getting my current location 100%. I'm getting my current location and it's being shown on the map. And this is being shown because we did include that on our map view. If you see, we did put there shows user location true. And even if you begin moving around, it will keep tracking your location because we also did put this true. So if I put this to false, let's put it to false, and also keep this false. If I save that, you see that now that blue dot has disappeared. You see, there was a blue dot here which disappeared because now we don't want to show the current user location. So this is just awesome, guys. I'm very happy that this is working. I hope it's working on your phone and emulator as well. I hope really it's working. And if it's working, please write in the comment so that I can have feedback to just make sure that we are all winning. And if you are not winning, if you're getting errors or anything, please also write in the comment. I want to get feedback from you guys just to know that this setup, because this is the main setup for this application. The rest of things will be easier because we finish with the setup in this video. And if you can't get the setup right, then it's gonna be a problem going forward. And if you're getting it right, just write in the comment getting it right, and yeah, at least I will know that we're all winning. So that being said, let me put this back to true because I want us to be showing the current user location. As I said, I recommend you guys to use your Expo client app and run this project on your phone directly. I insist on that. And there's one more thing that I want to do, but for now, okay, it's let's leave it there for now. Now we need to render the Uber maps, the Uber cars around the location of the user. All right, as I said, this is not true location, but on your phone, on your real device, you should have your current location. And I've put this back to true. You can see now the blue dot is there back showing the current user location, even though it's not the exact one due to the GPS error on the emulator. Now we have to render the maps. We have to render the markers which will be showing the drivers around the current user. Alright, and this is very simple. What I will do is we're going to create some image for the cars first. We must have that car, and in the asset you will find the car already. I called it the car marker. This is the car, and I will post this. It's gonna be on GitHub repo. You will find this, right? So this is the car we're going to use that will be rendered around the user. And also we're going to create some data of all the drivers that are around your location, because remember, each driver will have a driver app which we will build also later on, and that driver app will be taking the driver's GPS coordinate, meaning the latitude and longitude, sending it to the server, and the server will check the coordinate of drivers and see which one are close to you. But for now, I'm going to create some dummy data because we have not implemented the server yet. So I've created some data which you're gonna have all this data on GitHub, so you don't have to type it. So these are my data which I've created around myself. So you can create this yourself. I'll show you how to create your own coordinates around yourself. And I think there's a website called, let me check it. I think the website is called Lat Long, if I'm not mistaken. Just go to Google, open your Google and type address to coordinate. Alright, I see this one already. So tap this address to coordinate and take the very first website you get, which is latlong.net. Open that. So this website makes life easier. For example, if you type an address in here, it's gonna give you the coordinate. For example, if I type my address 32 Olivier Road, Boxbeck. I'm not here exactly, but I'm just typing an address. And if I say find, here it gives me the coordinate of my place, and this is the right coordinates because I know these coordinates. So also, if you find your address, if by doing this you tap your address there, it's gonna show the marker of your location, right? You can also now pick some location around yourself. For example, if I click there, it gives me the location of that place. You can copy all this and paste that inside our application, inside this array. You can create an array like this, and you pick different coordinate of places around you. So, and the places around you, you're just gonna be by clicking on the map, you get the coordinate. Click another place around you, get coordinate, and these are the points where the drivers will be. Okay, I hope you will get my point, because for now the driver is not sending any, drivers are not sending any location to the server. We do not have the server yet, so we're gonna be doing this in order to get the car to emulate or simulate the driver's locations. That being said, we can now go back to our app home screen, and now let's render some markers. I'm going to map these markers. First of all, let's import the data that we need. That will be driver around. I think that's the name of it. What was the name? Oh, cars around. Sorry, it's cars around. You can put whatever name you want there, but I did put cars around. And now let's map some coordinates, some markers. So open a bracket like that inside your map view. You can see where I am. Open that bracket and going to map this cars dot map method. And this will take item, which will be the object of each car or driver item. And we're gonna also take the index, and then this will return the marker. Right, this will return the markers. So I'm going to say map view dot marker like that, and close. And each marker will take some coordinate. That's obvious. Gonna pass some coordinate. And the coordinate will be the item. and also gonna have to pass a key because we're gonna be rendering a lot of markers. So this will be index. We're gonna just grab the index of our array and we convert this to string because I think this expects a string. To string, here is the method I want. And now we can see that each marker is simply a car image, right? So we must import an image, which I assume we've imported already. We're gonna render an image inside here. And we pass some props. The first one is obviously the source. And here we're gonna require the image. Assets / car marker .png, and we need to pass some styles for these things to work, and the style will be styles dot cars around, and the resize mode will be cover, which I assume is the default, but let's just put that resize mode. It's cover. Let's cross our fingers, hoping this will work. I'm going to just make this smaller. Close this now, don't need that. And what happened to my emulator? Let's see. The emulator is running now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to save all what we have done, all that we have coded, and let's see what we get. Okay, awesome. I can see some cars down here which looking good, and for now if I try to zoom, it takes me to this location because it's on the emulator. But if I check on my phone, everything is looking 100%. I can see the cars around me, and you should also see the cars around you if you have done exactly what I've showed you. But there's one thing that I want to do. Since the emulator is giving these problems, I want to have a region which we should get the map focus to. So there's a prop called region. Let's hope this will work for us. And this region, I will say the coordinate, I'll spread some coordinate which will we grab from cars around. I'm just gonna say cars around, and we pass here, let's say the first element. Okay, let's give it the first element, and we also gonna pass some more props which these things expect, which is the latitude delta. We set it to 0.008, and we set the longitude delta as well to 0.008, and let's save this and see what happens. There we are. This is looking awesome. Now we have the cars being shown around us. Here are the cars, right, as you can see, and everything looks to be working perfectly. But there's one more thing that I want to do, because I can see when I'm dragging the map around, it doesn't want to move properly. So I need to adjust this, and I could say instead of the region, I can simply say initial region. I think there's that prop, it's called initial. Hopefully this will solve the problem. Let's save that. Awesome. Now you can move your map around. You have your cars and it's showing me my location, which is just awesome. This is great, guys. I'm glad to see that everything is working. And on your phone as well, as I said, make sure you run this project directly on your mobile phone. That's where you're gonna see the magics, because the emulator sometimes is not as perfect as it should be. And yeah, so we have everything that we wanted to achieve. We have got everything that were supposed to be done in this video. Let me just open the picture for the home screen, see if there's anything left that must be done. As far as this as far as what we are supposed to be achieved today, I think we have covered most of the stuff. I just want to see my presentation. Yes, we have covered what was supposed to be done today. So we're looking forward to see you in the next video. And in the next video we will begin implementing the let me just open so I can speak from the right document. I'm just opening my presentation. Awesome, it's opening. So I think we are here. We have done with the home screen. In the next video we're gonna begin with the request screen. Right, we're gonna begin with the request screen. If you check the beginning of the video where I'm showing a demonstration, where I'm giving the project structure, you will see exactly what the request screen is, and that's what we're gonna be handling in the next video. So subscribe and click the notification button so that you can be notified when I post a new video on this project. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching. It was a very long video, and yeah, the next videos will be really short because this had a lot of setup to do which we had to get right. But the next videos are simply gonna be coding, and that will be straightforward. Thank you very much for watching, and consider supporting this channel by subscribing and liking and commenting, and let's grow this channel together, guys. And otherwise, keep safe. Until then, take care. Bye bye.